Welcome to Calm in the Chaos, the podcast where we spill the beans on the hilarious and unpredictable world of dysfunctional family life. We're your hosts, Maddie, Brittany, and Carly, so buckle up because we're going to dive headfirst into the wild stories, crazy adventures, and heartwarming chaos that defines family bonds.
Just keep going. If you've ever thought your family was a bit bonkers, then you're in good company. Get ready to laugh, cringe, and maybe even shed a tear as we explore the extraordinary stories that make every family, especially ours, wonderfully chaotic.
Especially ours isn't in mine.
Yeah, I just added that. Kind of like improv.
I have to remember.
Okay. So, I'm Maddie. I'm married. He's a sweetie pie. We've been together for 4 years. We got married right before I went into the army. What was the next part?
Too much Xanax.
Oh, okay. So the concept of this podcast is basically like just spilling the beans on our crazy, crazy, crazy family life. Because I promise you, our family can out dysfunction your family, right? Yeah. I love making content and editing videos. And also, every time I talk to someone about like our life, they're like, holy shit, I would read a book about your life. Or like, y'all could be in a movie. I would watch a movie about your life. What did I say earlier?
Okay, so basically you were talking about how like you want others to be able to relate to the chaos.
Yeah.
And find like the comfort and the calmness that come with dysfunctional families.
Yeah. Like how we've coped with things. Humor is a big way that we've coped.
Yeah.
Like we always
have to laugh it off.
We always find your invisible mic. Yeah. No, just grab my hand when you want to talk with us.
Like, I have no mic.
We gotta order one more mic. But like basically to help other people relate, because I'm a huge people person, and like I said, I'm in the army. She was also in the army. But when I was in basic, like you talk to a lot of people, you learn a lot, like deep stuff about people, you know them. If any of y'all are in the army, you know how them bay talks are. Okay, you're sitting in the bay talking about your deepest, darkest secrets
to strangers.
To strangers that you're never gonna see again.
Exactly, that's why you do it.
But like I just realized how many people have such like dysfunctional family lives, knowing that there's other families who have been through some crazy traumatic shit. Like I just want to, I think helping other people cope with their dysfunctional families
and finding that calmness that we do
in the chaos.
I agree.
Okay, Brittany, your turn.
It's Brittany, bitch. Okay. Let's get this started. Basically, hi, I'm Brittany. I am a mom of 2 beautiful little girls. One's not so little. She's actually quite close to my age, if you want to be real.
Yeah, 14 years.
Yeah, like we are very close in age, and I grew up with her, basically. Like, that's my best friend. And also my daughter. And I got this little wild toddler who's
trying to come out right now.
Who's literally trying to fight her way out of here.
Speak of.
Yeah, so I have cool children. My motivation for this podcast is basically I think we're funny as hell. Like I was calling Carly like a month ago saying we need to start a podcast because the stuff we deep dive into is just funny. It's drama. It's chaos. It's chaos. And yeah. I thought like it'd be great for the world to be a part of like the chaos and get to know us a little bit more in that way, because we may be super chaotic, but we're real. We're honest for the most part. I think there's a few dishonest people in our family, which you'll soon find out.
You'll learn more about that. To be
yeah.
continued.
To be continued. There's some snakes. Some snakes in this family.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that it's a lot of relatable content to a lot of people, and I hope that you all find the comfort and hearing our stories and laugh, cringe, and cry hearing them. So yeah, next up is Car.
Car. My name's Carly, and I am 19. Damn, I'm pretty boring. I am a dog mom to Bailey. You'll see her probably, definitely, in the podcast. She's pretty annoying. I'm 19.
Very annoying.
You said that.
Did I? Just cut that out. Okay.
No, don't cut it.
Yeah, so I have a pretty annoying dog, but she's also sweet when she wants to be. I'm still learning myself. I'm getting a house soon, so that's amazing. The reason why I wanted to start this podcast is because, one, our family is like insane, and I've learned a lot about this family in 1 year. I can say that. But we've been through a lot, and I wanted to share that with other people that have been through a lot. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Another thing I want to add is, so Brittany is 27, about to be 28. I am 20, about to be 21, and she's 19.
Like I said, like 3 times.
Like she said 19 times. So we have like age gaps, kind of. Well, me and Carly were close in age, but with Brittany, you'll learn more about the family dynamic and like how we're related. We were adopted into her family pretty much.
You guys were like 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
4.
Literally.
When we were brought into her family.
Very young.
And like, so growing up, when we were going through like all the traumatic events, we weren't really able to like process it and cope together at the time because we were all coping in such different ways.
And different ages.
At different
and, like,
ages.
Awkward ages, like 12,
Yeah.
11.
Like, so I think another reason for starting this podcast is like it'll help us learn more about how we've coped and how we like got to where we are, and I think it'll just overall like bring our family closer together. Up until recently, like we never really talked to each other about like anything. Like all of our stuff has always been kind of just us dealing with it ourselves.
And that's why I said I've learned a lot in the past year.
Yeah, like this past year, like we're at the ages where we're learning so much about ourselves, and Brittany, she's going through stuff right now where she's learning who she is as an individual, which you guys will learn more about that later.
Mm-hmm. That's a long story.
That's gonna be crazy.
I can't wait to spill the beans on that because
it's insane.
I feel like I have been through a lifetime of trauma.
Facts.
And I'm only 27 years old, so I can't wait to dive deep and really express those feelings to everybody and like open up about how I truly felt in the moment. Like I'm really not good at that, so to be able to do that with you guys, that's definitely going to bring our bond, make it stronger and bring us closer together. Like, and then for our viewers and listeners, I hope that you can relate in some way and it can help you in your journey as well.
So yeah, that's a little bit about us. So we need to introduce some of the people who have played like big roles in the dynamic story. Me and Cody are twins, and Carly and Taylor are twins. We all came from the same birth mom and birth dad. We were split up in foster care, and then me and Cody were at the same foster home, which was our mom's our adopted mom, which is Brittany's biological mom, which is our mom. So when we refer to our mom, that's who we're talking about. She found out that we had siblings, and she adopted us all back together. Before she adopted us, she adopted Brandy and Jessica, who are 2 older sisters. They're older than Brittany, and they came from the same mom and dad, and they went through some traumatic experiences, which you guys will hear more about when they come onto the podcast and share their experiences. And then we have Sissy Jordan, who was adopted 2 days before mom passed away, and she was the last of the bunch to join the Miller family. And I think that sums up everyone. We've got Sherry. Sherry was she was in foster care, right?
Yeah, so Sherry's basically one of the foster kids my mom fostered when I was a little girl. It was Sherry and Mary Lee, and they were biologically sisters, and they lived in the home with us. So they are considered my sisters, extended sisters, however you want to put that. But every foster kid who's came into the household, I've considered family and considered siblings. So we do keep in touch with a lot of them, like a lot of them. So we do have a huge family and a lot that has happened. But Sherry is.
We consider her like a sister. She was never adopted into the family, but she's always been around.
She's definitely there for holidays. She comes around, like she's just a sister. She's lived with us at some point a couple years back.
She's a bit bonkers. You guys will see that.
You will get to know the real Sherry. She is a character.
Willow, do you have anything to say?
What do you have to say?
Toys and my toys and money.
And money?
Okay.
You gotta pick one with the money.
You want money?
I want money too. Can you give me money?
I'll give you
Any
money.
Paw Patrol toys?
Let's
go into segment.
That's it.
Let's go into segment.
I'm done. I'm done with this freaking episode. Cutting me off all the time.
You just said you were done. You see her anger issues? You see how easily she just described Jessica in one word.
I don't want to be mean. Can I say honestly how I feel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Awkward.
Okay.
Anytime you look at her while she's eating, she'll make this face. Is the cameras gonna see this?
Yes.
You gotta do it.
She makes this face. She's like,
Wait,
we love you, Jessica. We love you, Jessica.
She's eating salad or
anything. She's eating anything.
You look at her. She's like Okay.
Oh, I gotta watch that one day.
Moving on.
I describe Jessica as loving.
Yeah.
And I say that because she has this comfort to her where you see her and she's got the biggest smile on her face, and she just hugs you and wants to tell you about her stories and her day and her job and what she's going through and this and that. And honestly, her energy, just being around her, she's just a caring person. And she may not feel the same things we do, how we feel them, because of the mental delay, but I know she has a big heart, and I know she cares a lot about her family, and she loves us. She's a caring person. That's how I would describe her.
I agree. Thanks. I would describe her as bubbly. She loves talking about things she's passionate about, and she's working at Walmart right now, which is something she's so proud of. So every time you see her, she's talking about Walmart and her coworkers and stuff that happened at work. It's funny, but like the way she describes it, you'll see when she comes onto the podcast. I guarantee you, I'm calling it now. She's gonna talk about work. She's gonna talk about her coworkers and the managers she doesn't like, and then she's gonna talk about her family and how she loves her family. But if you correct her, you will see the attitude all over her face. She
Jessica
might be.
Matt is so funny.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
So funny. She'll just be like,
and you can't tell if her voice is like if she's like crying or laughing or not crying or talking. You can't tell because she's like, well, like when she's getting mad.
yeah.
Like she's like,
yeah.
well, what are you talking about? It's
You
like-
just sounded like Scooby. No, Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. Okay.
One word I would say that would describe Brandy is, I would say funny. And not in a, like, funny as in she's got a great sense of humor. I mean funny because the things she says, the things she does, how she acts, how she talks to people, it's funny.
Unironically funny.
It's just funny. Like, you're around her, and if she's yelling at her kid or if she's talking to somebody, you just can't help but laugh because it's funny. Like,
The most serious things she says are funny.
yes, like she's just funny. Like, that's how I see Brandy, and yeah, that's my word and description.
One word I would use to describe Brandy is, I would say, motherly. I wouldn't say she's the best at it. Like,
kids in general.
yeah, she's a kid person for sure. But like growing up, she was always like wanting to be the boss of us. Like but she is the one who would, like, when we were kids, she would give us baths and like,
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like,
Yeah.
she basically made, because mom was at work, dad was at work, so she basically made like she played a motherly role for you guys, getting you to the bus stop, getting you dressed in the morning, teeth brushed, out the door, picked you up from the bus stop. I mean, she was doing the motherly thing before she was a mother. So I think that's where she got that motherly instinct from, and now she has her own kids to mother.
yeah. Yep. That's how I would describe her, as motherly.
Yeah.
Your turn.
I would describe Brandy as stubborn. If you try to like correct her or like talk to her about something that she's doing doing wrong, she's not gonna listen to you. She's gonna think that you're yelling at her. She's gonna just freak out and not say what you're trying to tell her to do.
Yeah, she's not like getting what you're trying to say,
Yeah, like she
which
won't.
is due to,
Yes, which that plays a part in her disability, but also she has a very she's just very stubborn in general. She's
sensitive.
very sensitive, stubborn. She's very like stand strong about everything.
Another thing though, she's sneaky. She's sneaky.
Very sneaky.
I think everyone in our family had to have a little bit of.
We were some bad kids.
You'll hear about that.
You'll hear more about. We'll have a whole episode about our childhood. But okay, Cody.
Yeah.
One word to describe Cody is comedic. He's very unintentionally funny, and I think he's got like social anxiety for sure. But with people that he's comfortable with, he's hilarious. He's probably one of the funniest people I've ever met, and I'm not just saying that because he's my twin, but he is actually like so unintentionally funny. He's also really confused. Like, he has a lot of built up anger towards the wrong people, which you'll learn more about in future episodes. But I think his personality wise, he's a very, very unintentional funny person. Like, he's like dark humor, monotone kind of funny.
For Cody, I would say black sheep because I find like myself in him just a little bit because me and him both like related growing up to be like the like left out or outcast or like just different.
The slower ones.
The slower ones, if you might add. He's just very like I catch him trying to like fit in a lot, like trying really hard to fit in. And he tries really hard to like relate to us, but he's just very like to himself. He's very like just quiet. But he's cool, I guess.
The one word I would describe Cody as is I think he's a bit lonely. There's been a lot of chat between us where he feels displaced, like he feels detached from himself and the family. He feels like he has no connection and no similarities, I would say, to the family. So he's just a little bit lonely, and I feel like that I think that plays a big role in like how he feels so lost with himself and not really wanting to be around much.
Yeah. I think his coping mechanism to a lot of the trauma was escaping reality. And I think he got kind of brainwashed from like his escape from reality was video games and YouTube and like the dark kind of stuff. And I think it really played a negative effect in his brain development. Like he was never open about anything. He wanted us to always be the ones to try and solve his problems for him instead of like taking the initiative and trying to communicate. He just expected us to know what was going on in his brain. So I think he isolated himself into this escape from reality. And that was like his coping mechanism. And I think that played a huge role in like why he is the way he is.
One word to describe Madison is controlling.
Yeah.
I say that because growing up, she has always tried to take control in every situation. So trying to take over control with her is like very frustrating. So I have learned to stop and just give up because I'm not going to try to over control the controller. But yeah, she can be just a little bit controlling, but that can be a good thing. She's very she's a leader, I should say. She has a leader personality, and she likes to be in control of every situation, which has to do with some of like how we grew up. Yeah, that's how I describe her.
Agreed. I would actually say the same. One word to describe me is definitely controlling, because I'm still learning, but I hate not being in control of things. I hate not, like, I feel like if I'm in control, I know the outcome. Yeah, I hate not knowing what's going to happen. I'm such an organizer and a planner, so being in control makes me feel like I know what's going to happen. Having to step up between the four of us, I'm the oldest, and me, Carly, Taylor, and Cody. And even in the household, when it was all of us, Brittany, she got pregnant at 14 with Brielle. So even though she was older than me at the time, so Brittany, Brandy, and Jessica are all older than me, but mentally, Brandy and Jessica really like weren't. And
younger.
yeah. And Brittany, she had a kid that she had to take care of. And this was like, especially after mom died, I think that's when my controlling instincts really like kicked in, because that's when Brittany had her own coping mechanisms, you know, your party life, but also being a mom. So like I kind of was like the oldest one at the house, and I felt like I had to take on the role of being like a motherly figure, kind of like, I don't know, just the way we grew up. Like that's, you'll learn more about it like we keep saying, but like, yeah, I would say controlling is a word to describe me. So yeah.
One word to describe Maddie would be a go-getter. Like, there is not one thing in this world Maddie didn't just go for when she put her mind to it. Like, she's headstrong and she will go after it and she will achieve it. Like, she wants a job, she's in that job. All right, she quit the job, wants it back, she gets it back. Like there's nothing this girl cannot do. Like, I'm sure there's some things, but from what I've seen, like, once she puts her mind to something, she's all into it, and I love that about her.
And that's why this podcast is going to succeed.
Yeah, she's literally like the brains behind this. Like, me and Carly talked about it, and Maddie like took control, I guess.
Took control of it.
But in a good way. I think like without Maddie there, like me and Carly would be lost.
Yeah.
We would be like, okay, how do we edit? What apps do we use? Like, so Maddie's like
She's
main character
she's the
energy
marketing behind all this.
Yeah. Sit like this. Don't wear your jacket. Sit up straight. No, at the end of the couch.
But I would say I'm a perfectionist too.
Exactly.
Because
yeah.
everything has to be perfect.
Okay.
It does.
Now,
Taylor.
Taylor? Okay.
I'm not going to start.
One word to describe Taylor is definitely, I have so many. 17 years in the same room with her. That's crazy. Same womb, same room. Everything. One word to describe Taylor, though, is definitely. So I don't want to be like really mean because she's gonna watch it. Like I already know.
It's gonna be a reality check for a lot of people.
Crazy. The reason I say that is specifically like I've seen the worst parts of her, and I can say that she's very crazy because let me just say one thing, one story, and that's all you need. So, I wouldn't let her use my phone to call her boyfriend. So she was screaming at me and hitting me, and I was like, no, you're not going to get my phone because he blocked you for a reason. And then she screamed and cried and stomped, and then threw her phone on the floor and cracked it, somehow on carpet. She cracked her phone on carpet by throwing it. That's how hard she threw it. But yeah, she's definitely crazy. That's the word.
So my one word to describe Taylor is emotional.
Yeah.
Basically, I say that because I don't have a specific story that I can remember from the top of my head. I am like an older lady now, so I'm trying to think back to when like I did live in the household with you all. But I just know that she was very emotional, stubborn and hard-headed and all those words. So I don't have a story. I just know that she cries and she throws fits and she hits people and but she is an emotional in a good way too. That's part of the reason where she is like at that place in her life right now. Like, how do I even put that? Like, but she does have a big heart when it comes to certain things. I know she cares a lot about a lot about the people like she's close with. Like she will go above and beyond and help those who need the help because she cares that much. And on the flip side, if she doesn't really like you at the time, she'll go above and beyond to make that known too. No hate, no hate. We love you.
Yeah. Everyone that we are discussing, no hard feelings, okay?
Literally nothing.
This is just us being vulnerable and honest and coping.
Yeah.
This is our therapy. So, one word I would use to describe Taylor is delusional. No.
I'm delusional too.
Bipolar for sure. And she's been diagnosed with some things, so I can understand it. Everyone in our family has mental illnesses, by the way. That's just something that we've all got.
For a good reason.
Yeah. Growing up, our relationship was always like on and off. And part of it is like, I was kind of like, I don't want to speak for her, but I was a role model for her at one time. Like, she was like my mini me. Everywhere I went, she wanted to go. Every time I dyed my hair, she wanted to dye her hair. Every time, like, all my friends that I've had became her friends. Like, she one story I would give to describe this is I think it was New Year's Eve last year. She was pregnant, and her and her significant other had gotten into an argument, so he left. So she was outside punching the ground, and I was out there trying to calm her down. This is when me and her were besties at the time. And I was out there trying to calm her down, and then she started charging at me. I knew I couldn't put my hands on her, and she knew I couldn't put my hands on her because she was pregnant. So I just threw my drink in her face. And then I ran inside and locked the door. And then she was banging on the door until someone opened it. And then I opened it and I hid behind the door.
Basically, we caused each other trauma.
Yeah. And then she came in and just slapped Carly in the face. And Carly was like, I didn't even do anything.
Bro, I wanted to hit her, but I was like, I cared too much about her.
One word I would describe Carly is psychotic. The difference between, like you were nice with me? No. She's psychotic, but she's, I would say crazy. She's crazy in love, crazy in anger, crazy in both. If she loves hard. If she's sad, sad's hard. And if she's angry hard. One little short story I'll tell about her anger is when her and her boyfriend were getting into a fight, an argument, a disagreement, and I was not on her side about it. So she started breaking stuff and punching holes in the wall and throwing cups. So I called my dad while he was out of town, and he told me if the situation does not de-escalate to call the cops. So I told them they had 5 minutes to call the cops. 5 minutes to de-escalate, or I was going to call the cops. So then she called Taylor, the sister who I had beef with at the moment, to have her back because no one had her back at the moment. Then Taylor pulled up. We got into a little brawl. We'll go more into detail about that another episode, but she started some chaos that involved the cops coming that night, and no charges were pressed, but I think we all learned a valuable lesson from that. And she's always been psychotic. One time she pulled her hair out because she was mad and she had a bald spot in her hair.
One word I would describe Carly as is attached. Basically, after our mom passed away, I was the only older women role model / figure for her at the time, and for her to attach to and see as someone to help guide her and be there for her. And like she said before, she felt like an outcast with everyone else. So having me there, I think that was beneficial for her healing and her grieving through that time. That's how I would describe her. She's attached, and not just to me at that time. I don't think she's attached to me anymore. Maybe in a different way, but she's attached in her relationship, and she's attached to specific things that she loves and cares about.
Agreed.
Yeah, I would agree with Brittany. I get attached to people very easily, but only people that I care about, like, deeply. Like, I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it, but I definitely agree with both Brittany and Madison. I can be a little crazy sometimes. I have my moments, but we all have our moments, I'm sure. So, I don't know. I think me and Madison are definitely one of the most normal out of all of us when it comes to me, yeah, me, Taylor, Madison, and Cody. Between us four, the two sets of twins, I say that me and Madison are the most mentally normal people. I think that we all have our moments, and I can be very angry sometimes, and also very loving. So it's a bittersweet kind of thing.
Sour Patch.
Sour Patch. I'm a Sour Patch. One word to describe Sissy is emotional. She just feels for everything. And when she's telling you a story about something that could be so little, but she will start tearing up about anything. If you correct her, or not even correct her, if you mention something that affects her, she's going to start crying. I would change my word to loving, because she is just very sweet. She has her moments, but not many at all. She is probably the most sweet out of all of us. She tells us whenever she gets a chance. I could look like a bum walking through the house, and she'll be like, "Your hair looks really cute." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks. I didn't brush it, but thanks." That's how I describe Sissy.
Agree. One word I would describe Sissy with is colorful. She's very passionate about a lot of things. She just turned 13. She's really learning herself, and she's got that teenage angst for sure going on right now. But I think she's trying to figure out who she is, because she's very similar to Cody in a lot of ways. She loves expressing herself, and like Carly said, she loves telling you how pretty you are even if you don't feel pretty. She's really loving. Yeah, I would say she's really loving. And sensitive too. Yep.
I would describe Sissy as sweet. I think she just has this aura and this kindness to her that you wish you almost had in yourself. She really can brighten a whole room just by the conversations and how she speaks to you, and how her own face lights up about the things she talks about, and like you guys said, of her compliments and how she talks about things and the emotional side. Like, she's really got a big heart, and she's been through a lot as a kid at a very young age, and to be as bright and as colorful and sweet and big hearted as she is going through all of that stuff, like, it really speaks a lot on her character and who she's eventually going to turn out to be. You know, she did tell me, though, she broke up with her boyfriend because he was using her. So she's got a little backbone.
She does. Yeah, that's true.
She came downstairs to me and she said, "I'm free," and started laughing. And I had no contact, nothing, just, "I'm free." So I was asking her, like, why, and she was just like, "Well, I broke up with my boyfriend finally. He was controlling me." And then he tried calling her and calling her and calling her, and she said, "Could you show me how to block?"
She's a little badass too. Here we go.
She is a badass.
We never said something about Brielle. She kind of grew up in the house too.
Yeah, true. Brielle, come here. One word I would use to describe Brittany is motherly. She has very, very motherly instincts to everyone that she meets. She's very compassionate and empathetic, and she's definitely sensitive, a little delusional. But she's been in some very toxic relationships, which we'll dive more into. She just recently got out of a 9-year toxic, did I say toxic relationship? And I think that's another reason, like I said, why we started this podcast, is to help us learn more about ourselves, because she's finally learning who Brittany is and not Brittany and her significant other.
Yeah, out of 15, it's been, I think, 14 years I've been in a relationship. This is the first time I've ever been completely single.
Yeah.
So I'm really finding out who I am.
Yeah. That's why I would say motherly. She's also a little cuckoo. One time she chased me around the house with a hammer. That's the crazy story I have about her.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get in my business.
Well, your business with your toxic relationship, that shouldn't have been at the house.
Listen, you coming upstairs, Dad said to leave the house.
Because your significant other punched a hole in the wall.
No, she pushed me into a lamp.
There was a hole in the wall.
From the lamp?
There was a hole in the wall.
No.
Or in the door.
I think I kicked the hole in the wall.
Well, yeah. One of you did. And that's why I went up there, because we heard the loud bang.
One word I would describe Brittany is it's like hard to like describe it.
Explain it first and then come up with a word.
Yeah. So Brittany is very like spiritual about things in a way. She is studying psychology right now, but even before that, she has always like psychology, I feel like, is like her thing, because she's always been the one in the family to really sit there and have a conversation about your feelings rather than just like not caring. Like psychoanalyst, yeah.
That'd be a good word to
describe. That's a good word
to
describe Brittany. Psychoanalyst. Because like she's kind of been the one to de-escalate things, and the one that my parents would go to talk to us about things so it doesn't escalate very bad. But she's also been the chaos in the chaos. So. she's a sour patch.
I think I used to be part of the chaos, and now I'm bringing the calm in the chaos because.
But you've always brought the calm in the chaos by just like
being me,
being you, and just trying to like
relate.
You, instead of just like wanting to know how we feel. You want to know why we feel the way we feel.
Being the only biological child in a house full of
Fosters
foster
and adoptive people
and adopted kids is because I've heard the stories, I've seen the good and the bad, and I was able to not relate to them, but hear their stories and be empathize with what they've gone through. And it's always intrigued me to make a better to be the better in someone's story rather than like it being all bad. I always wanted for them to leave in a better place than when they came. So I think that has a lot to do with like who I am, and it's because of all of the people I have interacted with, all my brothers and sisters throughout the years. I've learned a lot, and that happened since I was one. Like mom and dad became foster parents since I was 1 year old. So that's all I've ever known. Bria, let's add one word you would describe your mother as.
I don't know. You guys been there with her longer than I did.
Some kids can say like their parents are stressed or they work a lot. I don't know. Just something.
Nitpicky.
Just one word to describe me.
She likes to butt in on life situations. Like, if I'm like on the phone with my friend, she has to hear what we're talking about, and
I'm very nosy.
yeah, nosy. You're very nosy.
But you're my daughter. That you
You
have to
snoop on me.
I snoop?
Yes. You stalk my TikTok account. Every time I post a video, you're the first viewer.
Because I love you. I'm in love with you. You're like my firstborn. I love you so much. Okay, so that's the story.
Yeah.
I'm what?
Nosy.
Yeah, but that's me, being a mom. I think I'm just being a mom. I think every mom needs to be nosy and keep an eye on their kids.
Do you have anything you want to add before we finish off this podcast?
Yeah. I'm proud of you guys.
So that concludes episode 1 of Calm in the Chaos. Our next episode, we're going to dive deeper into the family dynamics. We're going to share some crazy, crazy stories. And we ask that you guys just give us any feedback of how we can do better, things you want us to talk about, any questions you guys have. We would love to answer them, and we hope that we can really find a way to relate to our audience.
Well, this episode was just getting to know us and who we are, who the family members are, and future episodes will be more in depth and intense and chaotic. That is good. Until next time, keep navigating the wild seas of family with a smile, and remember, you're not alone on this journey.
Mic drop.